15 shortages that will cause people to panic this winter. Winter is coming, and it seems like we're not fully prepared for the challenges ahead. The issues of shortages we are currently experiencing may worsen in the future, especially when it comes to food. Factors like supply chain disruptions, inflation, and produce-related challenges can contribute to potential food shortages. If supply drops below normal levels of demand for imported goods, then the shelves will stay empty of them until border issues can be resolved, as everything they do get will be snapped up immediately. People will probably continue to panic, buying things that there isn't a shortage of, too, because of the unease that causes. These shortages are a real concern. It's essential to start preparing now to avoid potential winter chaos. We put enormous effort into producing data-driven content to show you what's fake and what's real. Subscribe and comment to The Final Economy. iPhones. When it comes to iPhones, there's a noteworthy situation going on. The newest versions of these devices might not be as easy to find as we would like. There are some challenges in making them. Apple, the company behind iPhones, is facing a bit of a struggle in their manufacturing process. They're trying to make the new iPhone 15 models with bigger screens, but without making the whole phone bigger. However, there's a problem with this plan. The screens from one of their suppliers didn't pass the tests they needed to. This means that when these new iPhones hit the stores, there might be fewer of them available than expected. So if you're eyeing one of these new iPhones, it might be wise to act swiftly when they're up for sale. Snacks. Some of our preferred snacks might be a bit harder to come by soon. The culprit is a mix of factors like lower agricultural production and shortages in key ingredients. If there's not enough sugar in cocoa, we might have a tough time finding our chocolates. And nuts are in short supply too, which means less trail mix and nut butters. Even crackers and biscuits made from whole grains are facing a global shortage. Plus, potatoes are playing hard to get, affecting the variety of potato chips we usually see. Corn is also causing an issue, affecting everything from tortillas to Doritos. So if you want snacks, brace yourself for some possible changes in your snack bar. First aid kits. Highly required first aid kits could be in a bit of a tight spot. The bandages, gauze pads, and other important things we count on during emergencies might become a bit scarce. Adhesive bandages are running low, gauze pads are disappearing, and even antiseptic wipes are becoming a rarity. It's all because of some supply chain disruptions and shortages in materials. Imagine needing these essentials and finding the shelves bare might be very stressful. To avoid this situation, it's a smart move to check your first aid kit and make sure you've got enough of what you need. Staying prepared could mean the difference between handling a situation smoothly and facing unnecessary stress. Winter supplies. Winter tires to tackle icy roads, space heaters to warm up frosty rooms, and snow shovels to clear paths. All of these must-haves could be getting scarce. And let's not forget rock salt and ice melt. They might also play a bit hard to get. The trick is to think ahead and buy these items before the season hits. No one would want to be caught in a cold snap without these essentials. So as the temperatures drop, make sure you're ready to face winter head-on with your supplies intact. Exercise gear. The weights, dumbbells, and bicycles that have been with us during workouts might be a bit tough to track down these days. The bike shortage last year is still sort of hanging around. The supply chain is playing hard to get, and there's a bit of a delay in getting these items to you. Even simple things like weights are feeling the pinch. So if you're planning to up your workout game, it's wise to keep an eye out for available gear and maybe act fast when you spot them. Power. Electricity that powers our homes, gadgets, and everything in between is also hitting a shortage very soon. The power grid, the system that delivers electricity, might have some issues. Cold snaps and high demand can make it a constant shortage, causing outages. Last winter's chill caused a real mess with the power supply. It might happen again. And that's not all. When supply gets scarce, prices can shoot up too. We all remember that shock at the gas pump. A similar thing can happen with electricity bills. So here's the deal. Brace for possible power outbreaks and maybe think about some energy-saving tricks. And don't be shocked if bills see a bit of a spike. Books. Paper shortage is in the spotlight. So books are something which might become a bit harder to get. When the health crisis hit, paper mills shifted gears to make more packaging, leaving less paper for books. And now we're feeling the effects. The latest novels and course studies might be a bit trickier to find on shelves. And when you do find them, they might come with a higher price tag. Even our trustworthy publishers are feeling the effects of higher production costs. So if you're a book lover, you might want to keep an eye out for your favorite reads and consider ebooks as an option. Consumer electronics. With the gadgets and gizmos that make life modern and convenient, consumer electronics, we might see a shift in their availability. With consumer trends changing and budgets tightening, retailers are adjusting their game plans. But here's the twist. They might not have enough products to keep up with a sudden demand surge. That means gadgets, from phones to gaming consoles, could be in shorter supply. So if you're thinking of upgrading your tech gear, you might want to act sooner rather than later. Wanting a new gadget and finding empty shelves is not the best feeling, right? Turkey. Last year, avian flu outbreaks took a toll, and now there's another twist. Farmers are focusing on chicken and eggs, leaving fewer turkeys on the scene. You guessed it. This could mean a shortage of our Thanksgiving centerpiece. Last year, turkey prices spiked by nearly 30%, and we might see a repeat. So if you're planning a festive feast, be prepared for a bit of a price hike and maybe even a search for that perfect turkey. Building supplies. The materials that helps us create and renovate our spaces and building supplies are also getting scarce. After a growth spurt, there's a slowdown in demand for new homes. But here's the catch. There's a shortage of building materials. From stucco foam to lumber, things aren't flowing smoothly. Lumber prices soared earlier, and now the wait for supplies could stretch until spring. It's a challenging equation, with supply not meeting demand. So whether you're a professional or like to do your work, if you're planning to build or renovate, keep an eye on the materials you need. Stock up before the season hits and be ready to navigate this shortage-driven terrain. After all, every successful project starts with a solid foundation, even in the world of building supplies. Car parts. Manufacturers are focusing on new vehicle production, leaving repairs in the dust. Hence, car parts are facing a bit of a scarcity, and it's not getting better anytime soon. This means longer wait times for fixes, and even cars being written off due to missing parts. The result? Frustration and uncertainty. Even senior industry folks say it's one of the worst scenarios they've seen. Blame it on a shortage of semiconductor chips and disrupted supply chains. So if you're needing some repairs, get ready for delays and maybe consider some extra patience. Gasoline. The fuel that keeps our engines running and our wheels turning. The gasoline supply could hit a bump, and it's not a short-term problem. Recent months saw falling production and refinery issues, making our fuel situation a bit worrisome. Extreme weather can force refineries to halt operations, leaving us at the mercy of supply gaps. We all have noticed higher prices at the pump, and that could continue. Brace for some fluctuations and maybe consider fuel-efficient alternatives. Keeping an eye on the fuel gauge and planning smartly could help us weather this fuel challenge. Amoxicillin, the medicine that helps fight off infections and keeps us feeling better, amoxicillin is also expected to disappear. This medication, especially the kind for children, is facing a bit of a shortage. The supply squeeze isn't something we can ignore. The reasons range from increased demand to challenges in production equipment. The shortage is not minor. It could lead to serious situations, especially for kids during respiratory illness season. The effect reaches healthcare systems with delayed treatments. So if you're relying on amoxicillin, keep an eye out for updates and maybe talk to your healthcare provider for alternatives. It's all about staying informed and finding the best path to better health. Applesauce. With weather troubles and shortages in fertilizers, apple production has hit a rough patch. So applesauce might not be as abundant as before. Experts are saying this year's apple harvest might be much smaller, leaving us with fewer supplies of applesauce and other apple-related products. So if you're planning on a pantry stocked with applesauce, it might be wise to grab a few extra jars when you spot them. Dried fruit. The fruit supply got a little tangled up. Dried fruit might be a bit scarce on the shelf. Weather problems and lower harvests are causing an issue in fruit availability. This means dried fruits like raisins and apricots could become a bit harder to find. Prices might also climb, making them a bit pricier. So if you're a dried fruit enthusiast, consider stocking up when you spot them. As we navigate the winter season, it's clear that various sectors are facing challenges that could affect the availability of essential items. Staying informed, proactive, and prepared becomes increasingly important in these times. By keeping an eye on the evolving situation, planning, and taking timely actions, we can minimize the impact of these shortages on our daily lives. Whether it's adjusting our shopping habits, exploring alternatives, or being resourceful, a thoughtful approach can help us weather these challenges more smoothly. As we move forward, remember that adaptability and foresight are our allies in ensuring that we have the necessary resources to navigate through uncertainties and continue to thrive despite the changing landscape.